Hey guys, typical wrestling here, and tonight we got Monday Night Raw being held in the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. For the first time in the state, we're going to the great northern lands of Canada, and we have a good old-fashioned pre-show match here. We have AJ Lee taking on the debuting Rain, and while Rain is debuting, she gets a great rating on her bitch gimmick. It is not able to beat the Divas Champion with submission with a Black Widow. So AJ Lee picks up the win. Any improvements? AJ Lee actually learned some things from Rain, so that's always good. Brought Rain in because, I've heard her from the indies. I've seen her stuff. I liked her. So I thought, the more women on the show, the better, because our women's division, while is good, could use some fresh faces and could kind of have some more, prominence in it, especially with some of the storylines I have planned up for it. Glass shatters as the Raw GM Stone Cold is in the house. He opens up tonight's Raw, and he says, tonight we have a stacked card. Kofi Kingston and Brock Lesnar will sign their contracts for their SummerSlam match. Zayn, the Motor City Machines, and the Kings of Wrestling will have a triple threat match to determine the number one contendership of the tag team titles. Madison Lane takes on Velvet for the chance to face AJ Lee for her Divas title at SummerSlam. And to open Raw here in Toronto, the Bullhammer Wade Barrett takes on the baddest man on the planet, Daniel Bryan. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. So Raw GM Stone Cold making some impressive matches for tonight, including our opening match here. We have the Bullhammer Wade Barrett taking on the baddest man on the planet, Daniel Bryan. Let's see how that did. I have high hopes. And yeah, I'm okay with it. Wade, in a superb match, I should be happy with it. Wade Barrett defeats Daniel Bryan in a 989A in 1823 with pinfall with the wasteland after distraction from Bray Wyatt caused him to eat the wasteland and eat the pin. So Daniel Bryan, looking to prove himself against Wade Barrett, is ultimately stopped by Bray Wyatt. If you don't remember, Bray Wyatt was on Raw last week, and Daniel Bryan instigated the first chapter of the S Movement as a way to tell Bray Wyatt that he is fat and a piece of shit. So Bray Wyatt doesn't look to have taken that lightly. He has not calmed down. We see that in our next segment. As Bray Wyatt and the rest of the family, Luke and Rowan, stand over Daniel Bryan, all looking at the fallen indie mark. Wyatt isn't his usual creepy self. He's still creepy. You look at Wade Barrett and you're like, ugh. But he's very idle in his mannerisms, very focused, possibly angry in his mannerisms. He grabs Daniel Bryan, grabbing him right by the hair and giving him a massive Sister Abigail. She doesn't even do the kiss part of it, how he normally does that. Harper and Rowan start beating him down even further, with Wyatt screaming to Bryan to never mock him again. The crowd, seeing this, starts to chant, do the yes chant, yes, 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 at Wyatt, who covers his ears while screaming for the WWE Universe to stop, making them only do it louder. Eventually, Luke and Eric have to drag an incensed Wyatt away from keeping him from beating marks up in the crowd, while Daniel Bryan somehow slowly starts to get to his feet, much to the delight of the crowd in attendance here in Toronto. So Daniel Bryan somehow getting up from that beating, and Bray Wyatt seemingly incensed emotionally by the yes chants. We'll have to see how that keeps going. And we have a decent match, a B-75. Madison Lane defeats Velvet with a raindrop. AJ Lee came out in the beginning, so obviously it was kind of distracting. She's kind of watching the match go down. So, there's that factor in it. But it's still not enough, as Madison Lane defeats Velvet, and we officially have AJ Lee versus Madison Lane for the Divas title at SummerSlam, which should be a very good match. We're going to be seeing some more action that wasn't put over, as we see that the Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi, will defend his United States Championship against the Shield, Seth Rollins, tonight in our next match here. So we see that match. Rebooking can suck my ass. We have a B-77. We have a decent match, but didn't have much heat. The Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi, defeats Seth Rollins in 16 minutes and 1 second by pinfall via a fast roll-up. During the match, I kind of think the roll-up happened due to this fact, is that John Morrison ran in and attacked Seth Rollins. Obviously the great war between the various factions on Raw and the kind of defenders of Raw, John Morrison, R-Truth, etc., has spiked up, allowing Yujiro to successfully defend the United States Championship. And we cut to see the Big Show, having watched the entire match on the monitor, the monitor gimmick, looking upset that Yujiro was able to hold on to his U.S. title. Clearly, due to the events last week, he would like to have seen the title gone. Josh Matthews, a.k.a. the Biggest Loser, comes into frame. He asks for an interview. Big Show whirls around and just KO punches him. Josh crumples to the floor, possibly dead. Literally. Not really, though, because that would be sad. He's Josh Matthews, so, we'll kayfabe it. Big Show looks into the camera, seemingly about to punch it, too, when he decides better, leaving the scene in an absolute huff. So, rest in peace, Josh Matthews. You got in the way of the Big Show being pissed off about shit. Because he's the Big Show, and why not? We have another match. We have CM Punk taking on Jay Lethal. With no storyline, it's a decent match at B77. Jay Lethal tries, and maybe in a different world, in a Ring of Honor setting, he might have gotten the victory, but here in the WWE, a focused Punk has managed to beat him with a go-to-sleep. And then literally as soon as the bell rings, Randy Orton comes in and is like, yeet, and just hits him with an RKO. CM Punk is down for a second, and then all of a sudden, as Orton's gloating, Miz runs in. Miz hits him with the skull-crushing finale. Now it's Miz's turn to pose. We're going to repeat of last week where Jericho runs and spins him around, lands a good code breaker on him, but then as soon as he lands the code breaker, CM Punk, this has taken so long that CM Punk actually has managed to get up and GTS's Chris Jericho, and we'll have to see if this. We assume this match probably is going to be made soon. I wouldn't doubt it if we saw these four men take on each other at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and it would be a very good match too. We see Colt Cabana and Tyler Breeze are on the screen, with Colt talking about the tag team. He's trying to convince Tyler Breeze to watch the match. He's doing selfies on his phone, but he says that the tag team number one contenders match is next, and that they should be watching to see who will challenge them at SummerSlam. Tyler Breeze doesn't seem to care. All of a sudden, though, Austin Aries walks in, saying as well he normally doesn't talk to the B-plus players here on WWE, on Raw. He asks them where Stone Cold is. Aries says that he wants to let Austin know his intentions of challenging for the NXT Championship, so the title can be in possession of the belt collector, and not someone like Xavier Woods who just brings shame and disgust to the title at hand. Colt says he can't really help him, to which Austin replies smirkily by saying that soon all the belts are going to be in his collection here in WWE, including Colt and Tyler's tag team belts. Taking offense, Colt gets a little serious and says while he's talking to him, he should ask the general manager to make a match for superstars this week. Then he can find out how hard it would be to take the gold off him. So, pretty good segment. Austin rocks the mic. I'm not sure who did better. It would tell me. Colt's good on the mic, so was Aries. So, a good segment overall. And we have an A93, an excellent match in which the Motor City Machines defeat the Kings of Wrestling and Zayn in a triple threat tag match when Sabin was managed to hit Sami Zayn with a Made in Detroit. So it's going to be the Motor City Machines getting their rematch at SummerSlam for the tag titles that they lost at Cyber Sunday in that big Fatal 4-Way. No gimmicks this time. It's simply going to be the two of them versus the two of them. Weird to see Shelley and Sabin kind of the lackluster part of this. The tag team division, in terms of, I kind of slacked on using Kings of Wrestling and Zayn, and I thought about giving the opportunity to them, mainly Kings of Wrestling. But, I thought, maybe for the better, that it would be better this way. Considering we just kind of had, and I thought maybe making a triple threat, but I said, better not to do that since we just had, a big match. But anyway, the tag team division, what I'm trying to say, is awesome, and that's always good to see. We then have a segment in which Kofi Kingston is seen entering the building. He enters the building. It took him a little bit to get here, but championship in hand. He's ready for the contract signing, which is going to be next, as Jim Ross, Michael Cole, and Jerry Lawler inform us of. And when we cut back, that's what we should be seeing, but we do see Kofi Kingston, we see Stone Cold in the ring, but Brock Lesnar is nowhere to be seen, odd considering the commentary team literally just said Brock would be in the ring by the time we get back. Kofi takes the mic from Austin's hand and demands to know what's going on. The Titan suddenly sparks to life as we see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, seemingly at Brock's house. Paul says that he really should have made things more clear to Kofi, as Brock didn't feel like taking the plane ride to Toronto, and it's a shitty town anyway. You know, he's not interested in going to Canada. And as such, he decided he'd just sign the contract at home and let Kofi do the rest. With that, the screen cuts off. We do see Brock with this is the same contract that Kofi has, and we do see Brock has indeed signed it. Furious, Kofi says that is exactly why Brock will never be the champion, not in the new era of WWE. Maybe back in the later days, but not now. He'd rather sit at home than come to work, which Kofi says is exactly opposite of what he's about to do right now. He has signed the contract at this point, I should mention. I forgot to write that down. He is defending the WWE title right here in Toronto in an open challenge. And this open challenge is soon answered, it takes a bit, by the devil's favorite demon, Kane. So Kane comes out to accept this big old challenge. And yeah, we have ourselves our main event of the evening. And in a B-, wow, Kane really just sucked. Kane just, I don't know if it's because we're in Canada. It might be because we're in Canada, but yeah, just, this was not a good match as I hoped it to be. And about to have good heat and decent wrestling. Kofi Kingston defeated Kane when Kane was disqualified when Brock Lesnar ran in and attacked Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston makes defense number 7 of the WWE title. That also might be it because Brock Lesnar just ran in and beat up Kofi. It was a shoot. It was a trick. They punked him out. They're trying to see if the segment at all got... No, I don't see any ratings for that. And we end the segment with Brock Lesnar. He does an F5 to Kofi just for the sake of it after he beat him down. Him and Paul had punked him out. Clearly they were in Toronto the whole time. And it looks like Kofi might have underestimated Brock Lesnar. And as we all know, that's probably something you should never ever do. And with that, Raw goes off the air and we end the show. And in 98A, I'm pretty happy with this Raw. There was some kind of stuff, Kane kind of sucked ass, and, that's always, but I think Kane's kind of getting up in years anyway, so that should make some sense. But besides that, yeah, pretty good Raw. I liked all the stuff. I'm really getting in the hang of writing stuff down, and all that, kind of the angles out. I have, Word documents and stuff. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from WWE, other TEW creators. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Raw, and I'll see you guys for SmackDown and Superstars.